I'm Ryan Kaufman in for Richard Randall, and this is the Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell your home with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. We air the Real Estate Voice show every Saturday. If you cannot listen to the whole show, just search Barb Schlinker. That's Schlinker. And it's also available on most podcast platforms like iHeart Radio. Barb, great to be with you today. This is still a red hot real estate market, and especially for home sellers. My listeners tell me they love your show. I love your show because we learn so much about buying and selling homes, and it gives them information to help them succeed with their real estate investment. What will we be covering today?
Well, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I'm always researching the market to find out what's going on because real estate is very local. So the first topic we're going to talk about is whether or not the housing boom is on borrowed time. You know, just like the stock market, things go up. The real estate doesn't typically go down. What normally happens is it might flatten out or the rate of appreciation slows down. But I don't anticipate that we're going to have anything like what happened in 2008. So we'll talk about that. And then the next topic is going to be the 27 tips to drive up the sales price of your Colorado Springs area home. You don't want to miss that. And then the third one is how to avoid the biggest mistakes when you're selecting an agent. Most people just go with whoever they know, which is fine. But when you're selling one of your largest assets, perhaps you should have more of a system to it. So I'll give you some tips and a free report on how to do that. And then the very last topic is kind of funny. It's sort of controversial, but it's based off of a blog written by one of the millennial financial writers. And the title of his article is what do agents really do anymore? So my topic is about what do buyers agents really do anymore? And then, of course, we'll cover the hot new listings. Ryan?
I can't wait. I'm ready for this show, so let's dive right into it. As you mentioned, this real estate market is still red hot, but with inflation on the rise, interest rates rising, do you think that this housing boom is on borrowed time?
I think it's possible that the rate of appreciation, it cannot sustain itself because it's going to reach a point where some of the buyers, especially the first-time home buyers, are going to step out of selling. It just becomes too unaffordable. Now, I know renting is also expensive, so that's a factor too. And right now, according to the Wall Street Journal, the big national picture indicates that, you know, home sales are declining a little bit. But I'm not just looking at the last month like the Wall Street Journal did, and they did it more on a national basis. I'm looking at what this market is doing, and I actually did a real deep dive comparing statistics on what the average list price to sales price was in most of the major neighborhoods in town. And the answer was surprising. The numbers don't lie. Average list price to sales price is more than 103% per home. So it's not slowing down at this point. And there is more inventory. So it really depends on whether or not the Fed kind of steps on the gas with interest rates. If they go even further than where we are right now, there of course will be some buyers that are going to step out of the market just because the payments are unaffordable. But I'm really focused on the local side. And if you take a look back at what happened during COVID was very interesting. It kind of turned the real estate world upside down. At the same time, we had crazy low interest rates. We had low inventory. At the same time this year, we had 1/3 the homes on the market as we do right now. We had a lot of home sellers reluctant to move because where are they going to go? And a change in people's lifestyles took place at the same time as well. So as more people kind of shifted to working either part of their day or even most of their week from home, it took away the buyer's demand for living more urban and going out into more of the suburbia type of lifestyle. And then, of course, the most important factor that really affects how superheated this market is is that millennial population, and the Gen Xers right behind them. They are all coming of age. A lot of them are in their upper 30s. A lot of them have the ability to buy a home right now. So they're entering the real estate market. And the size of that population is 7% bigger than the boomers. So not the National Association of Realtors economists indicate that higher interest rates could result in reduced buying activity. Some buyers definitely are going to sit on the sidelines. There has been a reduction in mortgage applications and a growing inventory of available homes. But this local market tells another story. If you look at what happened from January to April, on the average sales price for a home went from 484,000 to 561 in just 4 months. That's just staggering. And if you look at the year-to-date sales, you'll see that the number of sales by month keeps going up. It's not like it used to be, where this time of year we'd normally have market-wide maybe 4,400 homes sold. We're way above that at 4,900 homes sold. So more sales are going on, even though inventory is rising. But what I did was I went back and I took a look at what was available before COVID struck, because that was more of an indication of a more normal market. And actually, the number of available homes is still currently less than it was back then pre-COVID, down by 59%, which is an awful lot. When I checked the other day, there were 1,237 all types of homes on the market, single family, condo, patio. So we still have low supply, higher demand. And so that's a good thing for this market. The question is how long it's going to last. You know, we've had quite a few sales so far this year. Our average over asking price is 105%. What that means in your pocket is, on average, we're actually putting 30,000 more in your pocket than the average agent. So when you make a decision about who you're going to work with, it matters. We have over 25,000 buyers in our database of buyers in waiting. And if you're thinking of selling right now while the weather's good, Colorado Springs was just ranked the #2 best place to live by one of the major publications. Now is the time to command top dollar. So if you want to find out more about what we have to offer, give us a call at 719-301-3900, or you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com. And if you're thinking of moving, what we'll do is actually sit down with you, take a look at your home, give you an idea on what to do, what not to do to get your house ready for sale, tell you what a buyer would pay for your home in this market, and how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells. So just call us, 719-301-3900. Ryan?
Fascinating stuff. And you absolutely do your homework. I love listening to you break all this down and how different the real estate market in Colorado Springs is right now as opposed to other places across the country. I'm Ryan Kaufman, in for Richard Randall with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, if you need to know what to do to get your home ready for sale, what a buyer would pay for your home in this market, or how much you will put in your pocket when it sells, visit barbhasthebuyers.com or call Barb at 719-301-3900. You're listening to the Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And we're talking about whether or not you, Barb, think this local real estate market boom is on borrowed time. Why do you think this market is still pretty strong?
Just looking at the statistics, I went back 30 days, just 30 days in most of the major neighborhoods. And I was kind of surprised. It wasn't what I expected to see, but the truth was that a majority of the homes were selling for over asking price. So that still means a strong market. It still means buyers have to put their best foot forward in order to compete with other buyers to get homes. And then the latest news is that the U.S. News and World Report just voted Colorado Springs as the #2 best place to live out of 150 metro areas. The #1 spot went to Huntsville, Alabama, which is very interesting because we kind of share the Space Command or Space Force service. So Colorado Springs is going to keep that until I think 2026, and then it goes to Huntsville. But they did a scale of 1 to 10 on how on best place to live. What makes best place to live? And Colorado Springs ranked pretty good on housing affordability. Obviously, not as good as Huntsville. Better on jobs. Quality of life was much better, 6.4. Net migration was 6. But the most interesting one is the desirable place to live. Colorado Springs got a 10. Now, you might wonder about that after that storm last weekend, Ryan. Wasn't it shocking to get 10 inches of snow?
Unbelievable. But every time I try to talk myself into it, like I know it's coming, it's always going to happen, and it still catches me by surprise.
Yeah, that one surprised me for sure. But a lot of people, their trees took hits by the limbs breaking off from the heavy snow. But hey, at least we got some moisture. We definitely needed that.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Yeah, but you know, there's still, even the National Association of Realtors is projecting that these home values are going to keep going up all the way through 2023. So these are national statistics. If we are faring better than these national areas, I think it's a good real estate market. Now, mortgage rates are definitely a factor. We have been very spoiled enjoying 3%, 3.5% for quite a few of the last probably 10 years. But probably those days are over. And if you look back before the meltdown, the average interest rate at that time was in the mid 6s. So we're not even there yet. It's still affordable to buy a house. And we're probably in one of the hottest sellers market in the country right now. So if you are thinking of making a move, either buying or selling, we have solutions for both of you. We're still in a strong sellers market. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 and find out how we can get our home sellers the most money with the least amount of hassle. Ryan?
Thank you, Barb. You're listening to the Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. When we come back, we will be discussing the 27 tips to drive up the sales price of your Colorado Springs area home. Stay tuned for that.